Welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. This is my first time ever going live on YouTube. Hello YouTube, how are you? I have no idea if I got this working correctly or not, but we're going to give it a shot. So I am connected to the Wi-Fi here on the train, and we are going to Egypt today. So I have done about an hour and a half of to make this content valuable to you. If you just met me, my name's Taylor, and I live in upstate New York. And I'm glad that you guys are all here watching both live and on the replays. Teach me how it works, because I don't know how to use this. Oh, are there like filters? Ooh. This is fun. Whoa, that's trippy. Ooh, that's trippy too. That's really trippy. Oh my god. This one, that's glamorous. Beam. I like that one. So I like how I can stream with filters. This is fun. Hi. I see somebody is here. I can't see who's here though. I don't know. I'm just messing with filters right now. This is fun. Hey Lampy, how are you? You're the first comment to the broadcast. Whoa. Oh my god. Wow, I did not make an attractive sketch, do I? Alright, let's just go to normal. Yeah, normal works for me. How do I get that to go away now? No, not that. This. Oh, what's this down here? Share, mute microphone. Cool. And then that's how I end it. I think that's it. Yes, I am on my way to the airport. That is correct. How's Germany today? What time is it for you guys? About 7-something p.m.? What time is it? 7:15 p.m.? It's 8:10 p.m. Oh, you guys are 6 hours ahead? I thought that you were 5. So that's just England. So you're the timing as France. Ooh, we can see into the train next to us. Yes, I got it, Lampy. That makes sense. It's so weird having one person in here. It's fine by me, though. That's a little uncomfortable. Makes for a good story, though. The takeoff from Sonam was fun. That's good. You know when you meet trolls in the real world? That's never fun. The people that were sitting next to me just left because I'm broadcasting, but they were talking the entire time. So they're allowed to talk to each other, but I'm not allowed to talk to you guys because that's just very annoying, apparently. I'm intentionally talking a lot quieter than I normally do, but this is the volume I would talk to someone who is sitting here with me, so I don't know why I'm justifying myself to you guys, sorry. It's just, I'm surprised when people are so negative on an empty train where there's anywhere you could sit if you want to. I don't mean to be disruptive, I'm just trying to do my job, that's all. Yeah, I hope we meet in real life too one day, that would be really fun. Do you have any plans to come to America? That was uncomfortable. I feel an adrenaline rush. Thank you for being here, Lampy. If you weren't here, it'd be even more uncomfortable. Oh, I'm glad that they moved. That was so rude. He was insulting my intelligence and everything. I don't know what he said about me, but I did hear him say there's nothing going on upstairs. I would love to have an intellectual debate with him. This year I go to London. Cool. You gonna meet Sonam and Vegan Dough and JJ, King of the Links? Pliny the Round. What other British broadcasters am I forgetting? I'll have to ask other broadcasters if they've ever had an experience like that where people were very upset that they were broadcast. It wasn't like I was showing them or anything. I'm just talking. I guess my voice is very infuriating to that man. Yeah, Bobby Vicker, of course, I forgot, because she's Albanian, right? So I always forget she's in London. That's cool. I like Bobby a lot. Her body painting the other day was totally awesome. The illusion body painting, that totally blew my mind. I love that. Love that. So it says I can actually share my own broadcast. I wonder how I would do that. Oh, okay, I can share it on Twitter. Oops. I don't know if you can still see me or not. I clicked. Yeah, I like that. So did I cut out during that time, or could you see me the whole time while I was sharing that to Twitter, or did it actually like cut the video? Because it said I could invite, so I did, but then it took me to the Twitter app, and it was kind of like lagging and delayed for a minute or two, so I don't know what happened, but I think I'm back now. I feel like this is the first time I've ever broadcasted. I feel so nervous. This is quite the experience. I've been broadcasting every day for over a year, and I'd still, things can still throw you for a loop. Today, Bobby was featured 2 times. Was broken during sharing. Oh no, it broke, oh no. She was featured, was she doing the body painting, or what was she doing today that got featured? I totally missed that. Hi, Nick. 12 miles to baggage claim. Baggage claim? Why do you need baggage claim? Oh, do you have to actually get it and then bring it to the new? Oh, yeah, you probably do because you didn't buy them both together. That makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, yeah. That's a pain. But the walking, you know what? Enjoy the walking. Enjoy the moving around because we're totally going to miss that. Nick, the people that were sitting next to me on the train got really mad when I started broadcasting again, like started talking crap about me. And then, which is fine because it's an empty train. I don't know why they didn't just move before that. But he was like, he literally said that I had going on upstairs. That's a real life troll in the real world. Like, we always say that so many trolls on the internet because they're, you know what's weird, Lampy? I can't actually go back and see your comment right before that. I'm sorry. I'm used to being able to scroll back with Periscope, but your comment comes up for a little while and then it's gone forever. I saw you say hello, Nick, but I missed your comment right before that if you want to copy and paste it or repeat it. Because they're behind the anonymity of a keyboard and so they want. But people do that in real life too, and it's much more impactful because that was just very rude. I'm just sitting here minding my own business, trying to make my money and do my job, talking to each other the entire time. It's like doing anything nauseous. It's just that because I'm not talking to a person here, I'm talking to people on the internet. Sue me. She was body painting, and after that, going out with the body painting. Awesome. I love that. Yeah, that's actually how I found Bobby, was body painting. Bobby's body painting. So I know it was a body painting festival in France or something like that. Scoping that, it was really cool. I think I found her. Out of her before that or not. Yeah. It says reconnecting with like a loading bar on my screen. I'm not really sure if it's gonna reconnect or not. If this doesn't work, I'll switch over to Instagram. I'll let it try to reconnect for a minute, and then I'll probably let it go. Love her fine art too. She inspired me to restart my painting. Awesome, Lampy. I love seeing your paintings. Your paintings are awesome. Nick missed 60% of the story. That's okay. I'll tell you in person when I see you in a little while. It's going to feel good to have friends around. I'm feeling a little nervous and adrenaline-y. Tell you when I get here? Okay, I will. It'll be probably around like 4 or so. Can you even hear me or see me? I don't think so. It still says reconnecting, so I don't think you guys are seeing me. So I'm just going to end this. We're at about 11 minutes. See, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're going to get this hour and a half done somehow. And if not, I'm sorry. I love you guys. Platonically. You hear me and see me? Oh, okay. On my screen, there's this like bar going around. It just says reconnecting. Well, if it's not reconnecting, then I'll stay live. Because it's not like we're going to get any more people on Instagram. But Twitch, we could probably get more people in the room. Maybe I should go live on Twitch. I don't know. We don't need more people. I'm happy with Lampy and Nick, although Nick's not getting my story. So how did you only get 60% of the story? Because you're dealing with the airport or because it's cutting out? You love my scopes. Thank you, Lampy. I love having you in my scopes. Your English is very good, too. I remember you said one time that your English is not very good, but I think it's very good. Oh, I hope those people don't get off at the same stop as me. I don't want to have conflict. I just want to do my thing and not bother anyone. It cut out back there, but it's good now. Okay, cool. I think it just cut out again. I don't know. I'll basically just stay here until you guys leave. That's my plan. It's definitely laggy, like I just saw my head turn to the side. Still good? Really? Well, I'm glad you're here to tell me this. I like your wrench. Lampy, you should have a wrench. Can I make Lampy a moderator while I'm live? I probably can't, but I could try. You can do filters on here, Nick. On YouTube Live, you can do filters, like on Snapchat. Filters, effects. You can share your broadcast, but when you share your broadcast, it brings you out of the YouTube app. So like when I wanted to share on Twitter, it brought me to the Twitter app, which made Sonam has a nice girl on her flight next to her. I've heard about Miss Asia. She's very popular. I've heard about her now from probably like 8 different people. So she must be pretty cool. We are at a stop. It's not my stop though. So we keep on live streaming. Keep on checking. All right, I brought my water with me. Ta-da! I love staying home and not bothering people in the world. Asia will have a lot more followers on Instagram. Good. I said that we have to get her to start live streaming on Periscope. Get her to make a Periscope account. If she has Twitter, pretty easy. I think Twitter, phone number, Google, or Facebook you can use to sign up for Periscope now. When I started, I think it was only Twitter or phone number, and now you can do, and then they added Facebook. I'm not sure when they added Google. I don't know, maybe that was always a thing. All right, we're here. Not really. We're somewhere, but not where we're going. Gotta grab my bag and charge my phone. Okay, Nick, thanks for popping in, and thanks for helping me with my YouTube stuff. And I'll see you whenever I see you. Very soon. I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to get to the airport and be with you guys. Twitter and phone number are the most used for Periscope. Yeah. All right, bye, Nick. Okay, so my stop's in about 20 minutes. We got 20 minutes to go, and then I'll still have about another hour of content, so that's perfect. I'll milk this broadcast as long as we can. Oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to read some of this book. I don't know if you care about this book, Lampy, but let's just read it. It's something, right? It's from Stefan Molyneux, which is a philosopher on YouTube, and his book is called The Art of the Argument: Western Civilization's Last Stand. I've already read about 40 pages of it, and I haven't shared any of it with you guys. And at this point, it's been so long since I read it, I actually don't really remember. But I will say that he's not a politically correct kind of guy, and he has some strong opinions that are a bit contrary to what a lot of people might think. It's relaxing for you to be on the train, Lampy? Oh, me too. I hope I'm not other people's relaxation. I slept for 12 hours, so I have to scope now, otherwise I'm not going to be able to scope. And you guys pay, and I'd say that I'm going to do 3 hours of content every day, so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to cause any kind of wars. Okay. So this chapter is called Freedom and the Argument. The argument takes many forms beyond formal and structured intellectual debates. Here are some examples. Children negotiating for candy, negotiating for a vacation at work, discussing where to go on that vacation with your loved ones, negotiating the cost of a car or a house, or any other good or service, negotiating household chores, negotiating bedtime with your kids, arguing about politics, discusses determinism, and much more. The argument occurs every time you try to give your position or preference without using threats or force. The argument lives in language every time you negotiate. The argument comes to life every time you accept being rationally opposed without resorting to punishment, either directly or. The argument exists wherever people are willing to peacefully walk away from their disagreements. If you and the car dealer cannot agree on a price, nothing happens. He doesn't get your money, and you don't get his car. Oh, wow, thank you so much, Lampy. Hey, Paige, thanks for finding me over on YouTube. I know it's like most people probably aren't on here, but yeah, if you subscribe to my channel, you'll get notified when I go live. Make sure your notifications are turned on. And I am trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, so that helps me towards my goal. I'm going to, at this point, I could probably just say, since there's only 2 of you in here, I'm going to New York, and then we're going to Egypt from there. So I'm going to be meeting up with Nick and Dan there in New York, and we'll meet Sonam in Egypt. So exciting. If, after the argument, nothing happens, you know there has been an argument. A hostage situation is not an argument, because if the argument fails, violence follows. Violence is also used to initiate the argument in the form of kidnapping. A husband willing to beat his wife for rejecting his preferences is not using the argument, because violence follows a failure to comply. Oh, thank you, Paige. Thank you. A parent willing to hit her child if a disagreement continues is not using the argument, because violence follows a failed negotiation. A woman who pouts and withdraws emotion if you don't do what she wants is not using the argument, because she punishes you for non-compliance, rather than making a reasonable case for her preferences. A mafia shakedown is not an argument, because your store will be set on fire if you don't pay the protection money. Violence follows rejection. Taxation is not an argument, because you go to jail if you don't pay. Do you see why I say that the argument is civilization itself? Civilization is the general agreement to refrain from resorting to violence if negotiations fail. Civilization manifests around those willing to reject violence if they are rejected. We all have disagreements. That's natural and healthy. There are only 2 ways to resolve disagreements: through the argument or through the fist. Given that we're going to have endless disagreements, how do we want to resolve them? One benefit of the argument is that it reduces the prevalence of disagreements. If you're a car dealer and continually demand $1 million for each of your beat-up bunkers, all of your customers will disagree with you. So you must either adjust your price or go out of business. If your wife tells you to wear a coat, but you don't think you need one, every single time you end up shivering with cold. At some point, hopefully, you will recognize that she is right and take your coat. If the first time your wife suggests you wear a coat because it's cold, you beat her or scream at her, scaring her into not bringing the sun, you've not actually reduced the prevalence of disagreements. You have only driven those disagreements underground and added a new one, which is her objection to your abuse. On the other hand, using violence tends to escalate the prevalence of disagreements within society. If a business executive uses political connections to get a government subsidy, taxpayers will almost certainly disagree with that subsidy. Civilization is just a thin skin covering the human soul of many people. Ah, okay, Lampy. Deep. Which is why it needs to come from the government rather than from voluntary investors. His competitors will also oppose it as well. Thanks for sharing this page. I appreciate that. I know a lot of people probably don't even know I'm live. And try to get a similar subsidy, which provokes even more competitors to do the same. Thank you, Paige. Provoking more resentment among taxpayers and more sophistry from politicians and the media. If government-protected unions and mandated minimum wages drive up the price of labor, this provokes unemployment, inflation, and automation. Manufacturing jobs get shipped overseas, prices rise, and people get thrown out of work. Thank you, Paige. This drives the need for unemployment insurance, welfare, retraining programs, you name it. Hey, thanks for the thumbs up too, Paige. In other words, one government program, raising wages, provokes an endless escalation of other government programs, rinse and repeat until bankruptcy. Feast on the present, starve the future. I think Stefan is actually the first person to introduce me to the ideas of anarchy. On the other hand, if a group of workers approach management with a list of demands instead of running to the government, this is called the arguments. They want $5 more an hour and are willing to quit if they don't get it. The managers may agree, disagree, compromise, maybe find some other solution, but the point is that everyone is free to disagree. If the negotiation fails, the workers may leave, the managers may quit, the business may be sold, who knows? And really, who cares beyond the direct parties involved? The whole point is that it should remain an entirely voluntary and peaceful interaction. If, however, the government throws the managers in jail or fines them or replaces them, then it is no longer an argument. It is a shakedown, pure and simple. The mafia with flags is still the mafia. And the last part of this chapter is called The Argument and Survival. Having to work for a living is not a shakedown unless you view reality as a malevolent conspiracy. Life requires energy, and energy has to be provided or earned. The division of labor inherent in free market negotiations is by far the most efficient way to create and provide the energy and materials required to live. Oh, you liked it too? Thank you, Lampy. Maybe it was you that thumbs upped it. I only see one thumbs up, so thank you. It doesn't make sense for everyone to be a farmer. It makes sense for some people to specialize in medicine and trade healthcare for other goods and or services. When you get hungry or thirsty or cold, no one is initiating force against you. Life is a process of self-generated and self-sustaining energy consumption, and you don't have the right to other people's energy, any more than you have a right to their time, or kidneys, or wallets, or children. You may resent having to get out of bed and go to work, but resentment is not an argument. Resenting reality is one of the very definitions of immaturity. Growing up is learning not to just accept what you cannot change, but embrace it. Yeah, Ahmed. Yeah, we're going to be meeting up with Ahmed in Egypt when we get out there for sure. Life requires energy. Energy requires effort. Expending effort is how you know you are alive. Rocks and clouds and fossils are not so lucky. The star shreds that aggregated into the most improbable and miraculous explosion of your consciousness should be appreciated with more noble sentiments than resentment and depression. I will say a criticism of this book early on, I felt like he was kind of like patting Christianity on the back as opposed to other religions, which I found to be a bit of a turnoff. Thank you, Paige. Okay, so we have about 5 minutes left. Let's see how much of this chapter we can get through. I'm not sure we're going to get through the whole thing, but let's just try it because we don't have a lot of comments coming in. So, hey, Adam, thanks for being here. The argument as civilization. In the hurly-burly of human interactions, we will always have disagreements, which is nothing to be upset about, as these productive conflicts produce the very sparks of progress. The fundamental question is, how will we resolve these disagreements? Historically, two answers have been fundamentalist religiosity and government power. The third alternative, far more civilized, is the argument, the reasoned debate, the honest willingness to submit to the higher standards of reason and evidence. In the absence of this mutual surrender to a higher standard, we end up surrendering to lower standards, superstition, government force, bullying, hey, thanks for the like, intimidation, sophistry, you name it. You guys, what is sophistry? In human society, it is literally the argument or else. We all possess an animalistic side that seeks power over others, over resources. Curbing this side is the essential task of civilization, and the only tools it has at its disposal are philosophy, reason, evidence, and empiricism. The anti-madness magic of clear and critical thinking. We either surrender to facts, or we must be forced to surrender to each other. We are either dominated by reality or by force and lies. As the old song says, you have to serve somebody. Ostracism. But how do we deal with the anti-rational? It's all well and good to say we should submit to reason and evidence, but what happens to those who refuse? Philosophical standards must be defended through ostracism. Intellectual ostracism, or refusing to engage with people who cannot rise to minimum standards of rationality, is an essential and often overlooked aspect of our society, and it pretty much runs everything once you recognize it. In a singing contest, bad singers are excluded from the contest. They are ostracized. Tennis championships work the same way. If you want a job but don't get it, you're ostracized from your potential place of employment. If you ask a woman out on a date, she says no. Are we back? Are we back, guys? It looks like we're back. I'm going to keep reading. However, ostracism can provoke conflict. Rejecting people for not being up to scratch can make them quite upset, to say the least. The decay of assertiveness in our intellectual classes is the fundamental undoing of civilization. People who can art but keep trying are like people who cannot sing but keep trying. Connection was bad. Yeah, we're underground right now. We're in a tunnel, so I'm thinking but we only have a few more minutes to get to our 30-minute milestone, so hopefully it'll hold off for a couple more minutes. The decay of Given that we are all in a choir, so to speak, off-key singers destroy our collective harmony by being allowed to stay and wail. Encouraging the encore in the realm of the argument compromises the battle. Ancient enemy of philosophy, sophistry, or cunning rather than reasoning, civilization. Those skilled in the dark arts of making the worst argument appear better are the counterfeiters of the true currency of reason. As counterfeit money tends to drive real money out of circulation, bad arguments drive out good arguments, and we end up with political correctness and reactive hysteria rather than reasoned arguments from first principles. There's an old saying, misattributed to Socrates, but nonetheless still very powerful. When the debate is lost, slander becomes the tool of the loser. A good singer cannot harmonize well with a bad singer. Pairing a poor singer with a good one does not simply diminish the good singer, it produces god-awful music. Intellectual slander is the rage of those who wish to have the power to influence social discourse, but who lack the intellect, the training, the will, or the maturity to productively engage in such debates. Okay, bye, Paige. Here. Through food, so he satisfies his rage through slang, physically attacks other singers, has clearly lost the competition. However, if people are not trained in the discipline of rational argumentation, they cannot tell the difference between reasoning and manipulation, between truth and lies, between clear evidence and pretty stories. Those who wish to be paid for bad art must first blind the sensibilities of their audience. So thanks for being here. Sorry the connection is so crummy. We're in a tunnel, so I'm going to jump off so that I can get my stuff ready to go, and I will see you. Thanks for watching. Remember to be loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thanks for watching. Bye.